Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the A to Z podcast, you guys, starring Aaron Chase. Below me, he's yawning because he's just bored with me talking all the time. And me, Zero Rimson. He's going to be your resident yin, and I'm going to be your resident yang. To explain that for you guys that are new, me and Aaron are similar but very different. He represents the realism, the actual, the reality, the darkness, the more I can never think of the word, but that's that thing where you look at life from a darker place. Pessimist
Yeah.
angle. I am, however, rainbow-colored glasses. I keep wanting to go narcissist. The naive, the not pessimist. Now I got the other one stuck in my head. Neither here nor there. I'm the bright and sunny side, and he's the shady dark side. And together we make a gray area that people can talk by being both extremes. We hit in the middle. And today we're going to be talking about something. Right now, Aaron's got some good stuff going on the docket. And so we're going to be talking about that. Aaron, you want to tell him? Oh, biggest fan, number one fan of Chase, says the man _ Sanchez.
Thanks, James. He's a friend.
I like that you can just erase his username. Thanks, bud.
He's a friend from college. I taught him improv and whatnot. Thanks, man. The special, yeah. So you saw Dave Chappelle's 846?
Of course.
I watched it and I was like, I think I told you this. The first thing was that it felt very similar to what street stand-up feels like.
Yeah.
And then the second thing was I was like, I could do that. Not like technically speaking, I could do that. So I was like, yeah. On a film level, I could very easily do it. So I decided I would give it a shot. Like, what do I have to lose? And I have all of these stories I've been telling, so I might as well document them in some way.
Right. Is there any so the brainchild of this started when you watched that special, thought you could do that, and then decided to move forward with that? Who's helping you with the project? Like, are you in charge? Are you directing? Are you setting up the cameras and then like letting them roll on yourself? What is the behind the scenes?
So our director, I guess, would be Bryce. I don't know if did you watch Nig?
Oh yeah, you guys' new skit. Check out on the Buddy Systems channel, you guys. They uploaded a skit. Yeah, it's I watched it. Yeah.
What your honest opinion of it? No one's talked to me about it, so I don't know.
Oh, nobody's talked to you about it?
No one said a goddamn thing to me about it.
It's got a couple of views. Like, people watched it, at least from what I saw.
No one said anything.
Okay, so I'll give you my opinion while I pull it up. My opinion, I think I get the joke. I just feel like the organization of it could have been better.
No.
I feel like the joke in and of itself, funny. Like, I rock with what the joke is doing. But for a skit, you guys had like 3 other jokes inside of the joke.
Yeah.
And the main joke kind of got like drowned out for me. Not even drowned out, just like it lost. If 100% of the thing gets split into 3, then now you got 25% to work with to make it funny. And then in that 25%, what you guys did with it also had some timing stuff that I was like, okay. But like in general, again, we're all doing skits and all this stuff. So like my friend laughed. Like I showed it to Bro, and he laughed at a very, like, once he got what the joke was, like the main joke of it, that was funny.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you liked it. The special, yes. So filming the special. So Bryce is going to be directing. He's going to have the main camera, which is going to have the wide on me.
I'm sorry, not to interrupt, but it's doing really good for the Buddy System channel. Like, it's got 140 views. I'm surprised nobody has said anything.
I don't know. No one said anything to me. So
it's 16 likes and 1 dislike. Yeah, I don't know. This is so underrated. This is epic good stuff, bro. And then somebody asked about if you guys have social media. Opinion. As a fan, it was entertaining and it was funny. Seemed like something that's believable, but also enough to be funny. That was, again, I forgot his name, but he's in the chat, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so
the special. Oh, fuck. The special, yes. So Bryce is going to be doing the wide shot. And then we have Dro. He's going to be, I want a show just following that roommate dynamic. Yeah, I would like to too, but now with everything going on, that took a year to make. So
yeah, I could tell it was like that was definitely pre-COVID. Like there was no
uh-huh.
way.
Uh-huh.
But that's crazy.
So then Dro's going to be going around taking pictures with his video camera with a phone, and then I got an actual photographer coming who's going to take really nice stills. So the opening is going to be, if Bryce described it, if I understand what Bryce's vision is, the opening is going to be snapshots of pictures of things setting up, of us getting ready. And then I'm going to start the show by literally start the show by just walking on the stage and explaining that this isn't necessarily a stand-up comedy show. It's more like a one-man show. This is just me telling you stories and with everything going on. And then.
So you're not doing bits. You're doing stories.
I'm literally just telling some stories of what has happened to me.
Okay.
And so you're going to hear, ideally, you're going to hear my voice over the snapshots of people setting up and getting together. And then when I actually start, then it's going to be on me. And then we're going to keep going. And then I think I'm going to do like 30, 40 minutes, which, what's funny? It's super weird. I feel like I don't have enough time. 30 minutes is not enough time.
Okay. Why does it have to be 30 minutes?
Just because, for the sake of making it like clear and concise. Also, context for anyone who's listening. I'm filming a comedy special. I don't know what the fuck you call it on Sunday. That's what I'm talking about.
One-man show.
Yeah, one-man show. So it's the way the camera works, the way that it's going to be mostly a static shot. Just it's 30 minutes is about the time span that would be reasonable. Okay. Because I could literally be up there for hours. Right. I've gotten to this point where like I can just keep going. So yeah.
Right. And I'm saying like for the behind the scenes of it, why wouldn't you just do the hour and then cut it down to 30?
Oh, because of the way his camera is.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's because the way his camera is. I don't know how the technology works, but essentially it's the type of camera that is meant for making film, like for filming a shot, and it's going to last for so long, and then if the camera turns off or something, overheats. So we're just going to have to time it and cross my fingers because it's all in the middle.
Have you done practice runs of it? Or are you just going to try to squeeze it into 30?
I'm just going to try.
Is he going to do you like at open mics? He's going to light you at 29?
I think I'm going to have him.
I still got to get through high school.
I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to, this is my chance to do my narrative progression. Okay. So I'm going to start it off. The intro is going to be me explaining what's going on, Dave Chappelle, all the bullshit. And then I'm also going to explain that my goal here is to just humanize. I think that like a big issue is that the way people perceive Black people is so not human, which is so fucked up. But regardless, I'm humanizing. I'm telling you stories that's just personal to me. This is what happened to me. So I'm going to start off with when I was 7. So the first time I got called a nigger. Then I was going to go to my point from 7 to the skinhead story in middle school. And then that's supposed to illustrate that, like, when you're a little Black boy that has gone through the shit that I've gone through, when you're a kid, it's like name calling. It's usually not as aggressive. And then as soon as you become a teenager, you're basically an adult, perceived by America. As a Black dude, you're an adult if you're a teenager, for the most part. And so then it goes from there to the religion thing. I told you about what I was said to in church.
Yeah.
So it's going to go there to illustrate that not only does it get worse, but people that you think are on your side or supportive or whatever also have fucked up thoughts, and they gaslight you and they make you think what's happening isn't happening. Then I'm going to go from there to me getting a gun and why I got a gun, because that's what's happening literally right now and how it's gotten even worse. And then I'm going to go, and the last thing I'm going to say is the good Black person bit. Do you know about that?
No.
Basically, growing up,
No,
people
don't
say,
burn it. I'm actually I'm actually coming to the show
"Oh,
because
for real?
I'm riding with
Oh,
Trill.
oh,
Coming to
thanks.
support, and I
Hey,
haven't been able to see anything even close to comedy in ever. So
okay,
getting out of the house and doing that. And so I was like, I also was interested to see not just for the like, there's nothing to do. It's like also to, I mean, a support a fellow, and also on the level of you talk about it so much in the podcast, obviously, and also on here. It's like I want to know what it's like to actually be there and see you in your element as you were,
yeah,
and how people interact with it. Because it sounds like generally, like the people that rock with you, the people that
yeah.
don't, they cause their disruptions, but they keep it moving. And so, you know, I'm interested to see that dynamic.
It's it's weird, man. It's. I think the only thing that's making me nervous is the elements. Is that like we get one shot at this for the most part, and I'm literally out in the street. It's not. I'm not. I'm going to be on the stage, but I'm outdoors. This isn't like a big. I'm not famous. No one gives a fuck about me.
Right, right, right.
So, and people are going to go by and they're going to get mad from what
Yeah,
my experience of it is.
right.
They're gonna hear what I'm talking about and they're gonna want to disrupt.
Mhm.
But as soon as you see a person with a camera and a performance, there's something that clicks in douchebags' heads where they're like, "Well, I need to be seen," and then they come and they irritate things.
Yeah. I mean, there is some, I don't know, like, yeah, and this is where this is where we'd explain the dynamic before. My version of that is when I see that, I see it as like a childlike immaturity. Like
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's a good thing. I just see it more like a, hey, everybody's being goofy. This isn't serious. Like I'm gonna go be me and like not care about. It's kind of like the YouTube prankster. It's like I know that they're doing it for the bit, but it's so like you're not thinking about others. You're not caring about like what they're trying to do. You're so focused on you that it's like you're not seeing the bigger picture. Again, like with what I assume Bryce and everybody will be setting up and what you'll be setting up, that it's gonna try to look as like okay, we're doing something here. That
yeah,
like maybe people will get that vibe because some like it goes back and forth. Sometimes people see a camera and they go, "Oh, I could come be a part of it," and then
yeah,
there's other times they're like, "Oh, something serious has happened. Let me stay out of the way." Like if you, I feel like the main factor. I'm not trying to make a bit here, but it sounds like I'm making a bit. Is
okay,
like I think something about having lights. There's something about like when you have like a bounce light, like
yeah,
that little shiny thing, that people are like, "Oh, this is real." Like
yeah, yeah.
they're that.
There's
And
the
it's like,
sun out and they still have lights. This is important.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's like I don't know. There's some weird connection between like how serious it is and
yeah.
lights, which is why we do Christmas trees. Anywho,
Um,
um,
I'm excited though. I'm
yeah.
excited
What aspect of it is exciting for you?
to get the chance to make a special like the pessimist side of me, because I still have a positive side. The pessimist side of me is like, dude, we better live life to the fullest because we don't know what the fuck's about to happen. And
Yeah,
so I want to at least be able to, before the new world order comes into play, I want to be
yeah,
able to say I made something. I made a special of some kind. And that's the scared, pessimist, paranoid part of me. And the other part of me is like, you know what? I don't have anything to lose. It's not gonna hurt if I film just my if I film my stories and I just put it out there and see what people do. People seem to really like. It's weird. People really like what I'm doing on the street, and I have a theory about that. But before I do,
okay.
I know you have things to say, Zero. So I'm letting you say
Oh,
things.
well, I appreciate you giving me room.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is a fascinating thing. I remember I felt similarly, not as much because I was still in like, in the early phases of comedy where you're still, and I'm not saying I'm out of this at all. Again, we've had multiple talks about how like it's an inevitability and all that, blah, blah. We feel like we can get there. It's just a matter of putting in the time and the effort. But you know how when you start and you're like literally blind to like how good you are. Like
Yeah.
you both think you're good and also trash. It's
Yeah.
it's like this weird dichotomy where you'll watch people and you'll be like, oh, I don't know. That was rough. That was a really good one, and I don't know if I could ever be that. Or like you'll have a bad set and you're like, I suck. I've always sucked. It's so bad. Why did I even try this? And then other times you'll go up and you'll make a couple people laugh and you're like, I am the dopest to ever do this. Why was I not doing this since I was born? I really deprived the world of my voice. I really kept them from seeing how amazing I am. And it's that weird dichotomy at the beginning that I think as you grow in it, you more and more, the humbleness starts to bring these two closer together and you get a more realistic view of where you are. In my version of it, when I was very early on, I also tried to do a special. Early on, you guys can find it. I'm not hiding it at all. It's got a lot of the same bits that I work on. It's just the bits when I do them now are better because it's been time and I've worked on them. But if you want to, you can go watch me try my best at a special. It's called the Nobody Special. And my idea was the fact that, like everybody starting at nothing, anybody in any entertainment industry, I'm a nobody. I'm just creating a thing. I put it out there for free and I was like, this is where I'm at. It's like a snapshot of where I'm at. I thought the jokes were good enough that if I just edited together, kinda, then people would see it and be like, oh, he's got the juice. And then they'd share it around and it'd be a thing. It wasn't. It's a 3-part. I also massively overestimated how much time I had. Like, I thought I had like an hour. I have like 20 minutes. Like in that entire special. Like that thing it's 20 minutes as a whole. And at the time I was like, I got 45 easy. And it was like, so there are some jokes in there that like I don't even use anymore. There are some jokes that are like really rough versions of jokes that I use now. But it is interesting to see that part. It was like, what would it hurt? Like, that's the same reason I made it, right? It's like, what would it hurt for me to try this? I tried it. I'm not ashamed of it either. Like, there's a lot of people who put out their thing and then are like, let's let that over here. I don't want nobody to see that I made a mistake. And I wouldn't even call it a mistake. I just think it's a part of the journey. Honestly, I still kind of rock with that special. That's why some of those jokes are still my favorite jokes. But then again, I like me, so it is what it is. But yeah, I look forward to it. I mean, I hope those the stand up, like, that's the thing, is as much that is the part of us that is comedians, right? Is like, you're saying you're going to tell stories, and I know these stories are serious just by the baseline of how you just described them, and given that I've met you through this and several other interactions and listen to your podcast, I can tell it's going to have airs of heavy topics and dealing with deeper stuff. But you're also a comedian. It's going to have funny elements in it. Yeah. And so I'm also interested to see where you work those in, how that works, like seeing the product as a whole. And again, that's the beautiful thing about the difference between live and the finished product is like, there's going to be a huge difference between what I witness when I'm there versus what the product is when it comes out. Yeah. Like being at the 846 thing with Dave Chappelle, totally different than what we all got to see on Netflix. Like there's a certain level of, and that's the beauty of live art. Me and Dro were having this conversation earlier that he has this idea, and I'm not saying they're not trying, but I just don't think they'll be able to do it. He has this idea that like eventually, like in the same way that they kind of destroyed like going out to the store and the whole buying the store experience and all those different things. They're trying to bottle live entertainment, like any sort of live show. They're like, oh, you could just do that in your home. And once they do that, it's going to be really rough because it's like, oh, they monetized it and they put it in a bottle. Nobody wants to get out. But that's the beauty about live. It's so in the moment. It's so experiential that you that's why you hear a lot in comedy. You have to go to comedy shows because like, it's different, man. Like there's a totally different, like, because each one is special because comedians interact with the audience. Like each audience is different and like each person is their own specific thing. And when they're amongst the mass of things, like, yeah, you might get the DVD cut, but what you don't know is that in that filming of that DVD, like somebody in the audience did this weird laugh and then they did like a 10-minute riff on that was hilarious and only the people in that room got to experience. So it's always important to go see live arts and all that stuff. At the same time that I say that, I will acknowledge my own hypocrisy and say that I have only seen like 2 live comedy shows.
I also haven't seen many live comedy shows because we're there all the time. So well, I mean, we see them, you know. Yeah.
It's weird to distinguish at a certain point.
Yeah, but I wonder, like, so Nig has 130.
Yes.
It makes me wonder
Well,
what this will have.
140. I imagine. See, that's the thing. You guys have been steadily growing just out of the like, because I do watch numbers. I'm very much, again, like I said, I've been in a marketing mindset, and my stuff has been slowly bubbling up too. But like, you guys were at like 51 subscribers, like earlier, even I would say like 2 weeks ago, and now
Mm.
you're at 63.
You
So
said
whatever,
63?
yeah, you're at 63. And
Huh.
so all together, whatever combination of the posting of your podcast or this podcast or all the other stuff, and like I don't know how word's getting around, but it's getting around. And like, yeah, a bunch of people watched that thing apparently. So that's good. Like, and I imagine this, oh, all that was to say, I had a thought there. I just kind of rambled myself out of it. I think that, and it's not to be up your butt, but like, I think that you doing the street stand up thing, getting more people into your thing, is feeding into the, you know how like you keep doing posts that are like, go check out the buddy system. Then
Yep.
I think they go over to the buddy system, and since they're coming through you, you're the thumbnail of
Hmm.
the sketch. And I
Oh,
think when they see that it's you, they're like, oh, I'll watch this. When they click on one ACMM, right? It's like you see it and it's an audio recording. And you're like, yeah, I might listen to a podcast, but I don't know. It's just a static shot, blah, blah, blah. But then when you see it's like a 5 minute thing and it's almost the N word and it's Aaron Chase, you're like, oh, let me see what this is about. I'm sure it's some. And then as for us, ours is also a podcast, still more video, but our thumbnail is kind of like a smorgasbord of things. Whereas I see when, and it doesn't have your name in it or like something that's pushing you. All that being said is if the audience is the audience that I think it is, I imagine it will have one of the higher view counts than the other things on there because I think they're there for you.
yeah.
Like I think they're coming for you. They'll stay for other stuff. Like there's still great other content on there. But I think they come for you from the street stand up. And when they see that it's, hey, it's the thing that I saw him at, and maybe I'm in it, or maybe it's just a thing that I've been a part of. Like maybe
Yeah.
I can, let me see, click. And that's what I imagine is where my brain goes. But it could also just be the happenstance of, I don't know, maybe people see it and just like, I'm interested, random click. It could be anything. Could just be the subscribers themselves. Who knows?
We'll
Might be
see.
a fan. You also shared it on social media, on Facebook and stuff, so it's not like it couldn't have come from those groups either. So, it is what it is. And yeah, like you said, we'll see. Eventually it'll all make its thing. And whatever it's gonna do, it's gonna do, right?
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
something you can control with the arts.
It's still weird. Um, like I think I'm getting a little more used to it when I go out there, people interacting with me, but it's still weird.
Mm,
I
yeah.
don't know how to, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean it's an adjustment going from like it's that weird thing where like you are putting yourself out there, but now people, excuse me, people are ingesting that they know. That's the thing between, and is a big jump, but just everybody understand that I'm saying this with all the humbleness in the world, that I'm not saying Aaron's a star and I'm not saying that we're celebrities or any of that. Just on the minute level, it's that difference between celebrity and like being a person that you
Mm.
just know, where the relationship with people that you know, like your friends and your family and your coworkers, are they know you. It's reciprocated. You say something about yourself, they say something about themselves. You say something about yourself, they say something about themselves. It's a back and forth, a conversation. When you're on the street and they're consuming your thing, it's just I'm telling you about myself, and they're just taking it in without giving back a level of, this is our side of it, this is ourselves. And so there becomes this dissonance of like, a lot of people know you who you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. That was that sentence was exactly where I feel weird.
Yeah. Yeah,
That,
I'm rambly, but I get to a quote every once and again. Eventually, I throw enough words together that it
yes.
sounds good.
Right.
Anywho,
But it's like it's hard to wrap my mind around because I'm not resting on my laurels at where I'm at of 130 views. Like I'm not like I did it, guys. I know that. Like I got to keep
Which
going.
would also be a very sad bar because that's
Yeah.
not high at all.
But it makes me feel like getting the traction that I'm getting makes me feel like, oh, this is totally possible. Not to say I didn't think it was possible before, but now that things are clicking a little bit, I'm like, oh, this is real. Like this is tangible, this experience I'm having. So the idea that it's going to get bigger is exciting, but terrifying.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it is a glimpse into a world that is like, again, it's like you, and it's different for everybody. Some people get into it for fame. Some people get into it for fortune. For some people get into the love of the game, and those things are just a part of doing that. And seeing a glimpse into the world where you are respected for your art and all that stuff, and seeing the other side of that coin and how much you are in a certain light. Again, to be fair, there's a beautiful way of looking at it too, where you're sharing yourself with an individual and helping them through. Like you said, the crazies that connect with you are the people who connect with you. Like they need that voice in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. At the same time, it is scary. It's scary from that place of like you're kind of sacrificing a level of privacy, a level of anonymity in order to help a certain the greater good, quote unquote. And to be fair, this is this is why I'm the airy fairy rainbow, because not everybody gets into it to share themselves with the world and help people. Like sometimes it is just like, I want to be rich. I want to be known. That's what it is. It's not that deep. Like I just like that I get the things. Validation. I get that. But at the same time, there is something to be said about the few people who, if you go on any song, on any playlist, anywhere, any music video. You know what I saw the other day? Me and a friend of mine went on, because I went down a nostalgia rabbit hole. I started at Ray J and I ended up on Cisco. And when I got to Cisco, it was on the Thong Song, obviously, because, I mean, it's Cisco.
I didn't even know he had other songs.
Right? So I listened to the Thong Song. Still great song, just funny and hilarious when you realize it's one lyric. It's like one verse all the way several times through. Still great song, still fun, and also the context is ridiculous. Neither here nor there. Went into the comments, and in the comments, a human being actually wrote, I haven't heard anything good since this song. Like this was like the Thong Song was the last song that was good that was created, and everything past it. And we keep making the joke that it's like, man, you know, this burger is pretty good, but like it won't compare to the Thong Song. He's leaving, or is he saying hi? Oh,
I think he's saying hi.
Hello. We're talking about the Thong Song right now and how it's the bop of a generation. No, but like to my point, somebody loves that song so much, like it so much to them that it like transcends, and like it doesn't matter what the rest of the stuff is, and people will always do that regardless. So it's kind of that thing of like, it is important, even if it's like bad for good sake or good for bad sake. It's like when you're doing something, and if you create an art and you did it for selfish reasons, but then somebody consumes that art and it helps them through whatever they're going through, or it just helps them in general, then I say greater good was done. And that's a totally weird place to go with everything we're talking about, but somehow it made sense. I don't know how I got there.
The thing that's freaking me out is that okay, so I think I told you this a while ago that my intention, the way I write was like, I want to hook people emotionally. Obviously, I need jokes, but if I can hook them emotionally, then I'm in really good shape, because now
we can't click YouTube links, Radical Jake. like I would if I could. It just doesn't work.
Oh, that's fun. I think it's the Thong Song he sent.
Oh, got it. Yeah, probably. If it's Cisco, you're right.
Yeah.
Anywho, all right.
So my intention was to hook people emotionally. Yeah. That was what I've been doing. I've been trying to do that for years. That's what it's been very clear that that's what I've been doing. And then when I started doing the street stand-up and I started to figure out how to do that, I started to get better at hooking people emotionally, just as a skill, as a technique within comedy. And then all this George Floyd shit happened. And now it is genuinely what I talk about, is genuinely what I care about, but everyone's emotions are super heightened. And so now when I hook them emotionally, it's a way bigger deal. And it's scary because like I don't want them to keep thinking I'm some sort of martyr or activist
Yeah,
or
I was just about to ask you that. Like, do you see people looking at you as, you know how like at the beginning of at the beginning of 846, he's like, who cares what Jod thinks, and he's like, who cares what your favorite comedian thinks, that whole bit, and not bit but like point that he was making. um do you feel people doing that to you, like looking to you and going like like he's not a comedian, he's
yeah.
like a voice of our generation?
I mean, no one said something like that to me, but that is like because there's points where I'm out there where I'm not being funny. Last time I was out there, I was in a really bad mood. I haven't been on the street in a couple of days now because I've been trying to just relax a little bit and be on my own. But I was in a bad mood and I was just venting. And people were around and they were listening. And the way I would describe it is that I'm doing the dangerous thing. So they're hearing the things that they feel, and they're hearing it in a mildly entertaining fashion, and I'm doing it on the street. And people, you can see the people that are angry with me, but you can also see the people that like it. And I'm the one who's putting myself in danger. So they're living vicariously through that. Like they're not in danger.
You're the safe filter. Like you're
Yeah.
saying what they think, but they can't say because they're afraid of the dangers of if they say that thing.
Right. And I'm still afraid of the dangers. It just so happens that I'm a comedian. So I'm in a position to where that's the only thing that's on anyone's mind. So it's this weird snowball effect. And it freaks me out because if the people that like me recognize me, the people that don't like me also recognize me. Right. And that's something that is like when I was started doing the street stand up, my intention was never to like latch on to a movement. I just want people to like my comedy. So now I'm in this really weird position where even the special is going to be very, you know what the fuck it's going to be. And so it's just weird. It's weird. And this is what I wanted.
Yeah. So here's my question to that. Where do you, as of right now, because again, things are always changing, we're always growing, we're always learning. Where do you draw your specific line on when you have to add in humor? Like where do you draw the line between you're speaking your truth, telling your story, doing your thing, and I'm a stand-up comedian, like I'm gonna make jokes out of this? Like in order to stop from becoming the thing that like some people are bolstering up as a defense of vicarious, all the voice, right? Like the dream of being a stand-up comedian. It's like obviously from at least from what the special is going to be. The special itself, like you've been saying, it's like it's barely stand-up comedy. It's like not. It's like so at what point? Because I know that's not the dream. I know the dream isn't to be the speaker, the public speaker. The dream is to be a comedian. Yeah. So where do you draw the line at like, okay, I'm gonna start making jokes again. Like this, it's joke time. I have to be funny now.
Are you talking about when I'm on the street or in general?
I would say both. One, when you're in the moment on the street, and two, in the general span of your progression, like your career and where it's heading. When do you like turn
generally, if I'm at a comedy club, I got jokes. I have all the shit written out. I'm not out there for hours at a time, and it'll be funny. And it'll have those emotional moments, but like in the setting of a comedy club or a bar, where the time isn't 5 hours, the time is like 10, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. I have material for that, and I can riff and I can play around and come back to it. I can like the amount of part of it's environmental. Like on the street, you're out there for so long that you can't not be just you. It's an interesting experience to like, you know when you're on stage and you do 10 minutes, right? And you get off and it feels like it went by. Like as soon as you're done, it's gone. And when you're on the street, it's like you have time to sit in it and feel what it's like to have people staring at you for long periods of time. And you can take the time to think like, oh shit, I should probably be more funny right now. All right, let me click more into that. I need to talk about this. I need to make sure this is like you have more time to think about all of that stuff. So I'm also, what's up?
I said interesting. I was just mulling it over.
I also think I'm getting, I think, big, big think that I'm getting how Chappelle does these long bits, like where they come from. Because from what I understand, he just goes to comedy clubs and is like, all right, I'm going to be on stage for 4 hours, and that's just what's going to happen. And obviously what I'm doing is a little different, but when I'm out there and I've just decided like I'm going to be out for a couple hours, so just here you go. You start to stretch things. You start to feel how it's so hard to put into words, man. But watching 846, I was like, fuck, man, that's exactly what it feels like for me.
Yeah. And to loop it back into what your special is, so then I asked the other question where it's like, you're taking the 3 to 5 hour energy and you're trying to push it into 30 minutes?
I just took the few stories that clicked together, and I'm just going to say those stories. I've said them so many times on the street. I know the points of the story, and I know little moments that I know how to make kind of funny throughout the story so it doesn't get too much. Yeah. And that's it. Like I have plenty more stories. I just picked the ones that would make the most sense narratively.
Right. And I'm sorry, I feel like I harp on that part because honestly that part is interesting to me. But so the first half is 30 minutes. Is the entire thing 30 minutes? Or
yeah, I don't want to be out there. Like I want to get in, do the thing,
and then get
okay. Out. Yeah.
Okay, then the question on top of that, again, more behind the scenes stuff. When you're doing it, like for those who will go, right? Is it gonna be you doing what you would normally do, street stand up, to just get the audience there? Or are you just gonna, as soon as the cameras are up and as soon as like you're in position, you're just gonna start and it's gonna go through?
The latter. I'm just gonna start and it's gonna go through. I'm gonna interact if I need to interact, but in a perfect world, I don't have to do crowd work. I don't have to do any of that. I can just say what I need to say and be done with it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess you did set a time and place. I was about to say the thing that was boggling my mind was like when that lend towards, and again, this is fine too. Again, art for art's sake, right, or whatever. It's like if it's not done in front of an audience, then like, all right, if this happened, right, and people were walking by, but nobody was doing the stop and listen, even though in your experience that'll never happen.
Yeah.
If nobody stopped and listened, right? Would you still be happy with that product?
Yep.
Okay, so it's to do.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. All right.
I don't. First off, I can't imagine nobody is going to stop or nobody's going to show. If I have one person, which might just be you, fuck it, I don't care. If I just have one person stand there, I can do it. And even if I have no people, I can just talk to the camera and that's fine. But if I can just get one person to stand there, I've done it so much on the street that it's like I know how to handle that. And so just go from there.
Okay. All right, well, it'll be interesting to say the least.
I think this is also going to be a good gauge of how serious my fan base is about me.
Okay. Like see who's down, who's gonna come when it's like I'm here, a time and a place, and
it's like, fucking free.
Hey, it's the thing we run into sometimes.
Yeah, and it's free and like
that is so. A big selling point.
What's up?
That is a good selling point.
Yeah, and it's so funny, man. Like,
sorry, tiny little other behind the scenes notes because it's July 3rd, 2020. Do you do your set in a mask? How do you?
No, when I was fucking up before and I was not doing the social distancing properly. So now what I'm going to do is to do my shit. And then if people come near me, put the mask up. I have this. So everyone, dude, people are so goddamn inconsiderate. Like people are so, I have to tell you a story when we're done here because it makes me so mad. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep lathering up whenever I'm around people. I mask up. When I do the show on Sunday, I think I'm gonna tell people like, please social distance. We can interact at the end if there are people there, but like, please, like, don't touch. Please, just don't touch each other.
I'm like, how do people usually handle it when you're just normal street?
People don't. It's a mixture. It's honestly, and this is really fucked up that masks have become political, but like you basically know, oh, okay, this is a liberal, this is a conservative.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And the conservative people don't give a fuck, like at all. And also let me preface by saying I'm generalizing. I don't know everybody,
right?
But like it's pretty evident who is believing in what.
Right.
You know, and it's like they fucking flies. They just don't give a fuck. Hold on one second.
It's your real biggest fan, the fly.
Dude, I hate them so much.
Fuck, they love you. That's what they're for.
Fuck. God damn it.
Man, it sounds like that fly really messing him up. Just he comes back with a black eye.
Bitch. Woo! I got it.
Good job. You showed that fly who was boss.
I got it. Ugh. Anyway, no, man, they do not care. They don't care. It's disturbing. Like
just it is that thing where it's like, first of all, like you said, it's weird that that's a political statement at all. But just in general, that it's like the same reason for me is like, personally, I'm also not, again, this is why I fall in the middle of things, is because like, again, we've seen the devastation it's caused. We've seen that it affects people. It is a disease that means you have to care about others. And so because I care about others, even though I personally feel like I would be fine getting it, like I would be fine and everyone in my household would be fine because we're all young and we have lungs and no complications and all the blah, blah. And even within that spectrum, there's still very, very binary. Well, you still might get got, but not even thinking about me. It's about the other people thing of it. With the other people thing of it, I just like, okay, fine, I'll do it. Fine. If it means I can shop in the store, if it means I can do stuff, it's fine. It's respecting other people's thing. It's like, even if I don't believe it, even if I don't think personally, it's like, you have every right to have your thing. I'm not going to step on your toe. Like vegetarians, I don't eat like a vegan. I don't eat vegetarian, but I'm not like, take this chicken. You eat this now. I'm not like trying to trick them into eating food. It's just like, you have your thing, I have mine. I get what you're saying.
It's really like the reason I took a break was these people are really man. One of these days you should hang out with me and see the street stand up, and you should see the types of people I interact with, because these people are like fucking monsters, man. Like they're really, some of these people are like, I know I speak hyperbolically, but I run the line of, I would call some of these people evil, like really disturbed. I told you about Cletus and Upland. Did I tell you about Cletus?
Yeah. I think you didn't give a lot of details, but I think, was he the 9/11 guy?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you talked about him last.
There are so many of him out there, and female versions of that person out there. Like so many of them. And they have guns and they vote, and it's like, we need to find a different system, because these are not people that should be contributing to society in any way like that. It freaks me out. Like I think that's the other thing that freaks me out, man. Like I was at the grocery store. So the grocery store, and the check teller person knew my name. And it was like, I was like, hey, Aaron. And I was like, oh, hey, hi. And,
Do I
okay.
know you?
Well,
like,
I
you
just
don't, but you will.
Yeah. And it's like, if that person knows me, then these fucking maniacs do. And they don't understand. They can't be reasoned with. Like, talking with that guy for so long, he cannot be reasoned with. If he's decided he's going to do something crazy, he's just going to do something crazy.
Right. It is the very meta and scary argument of like you said, it's like, in the hands of a crazy, what is the law? Like, there's something to, like, the only reason it works is because it's under the premise that you're a sane person. But like, if it's that thing where it's like, if one person, like, and they say that there was the guy I used to watch way back when, again, pickup guy, he taught, and he made a point that was like, who in this room, he's giving a whole speech to a room of like 100,000 guys. He's like, who in the room is most in danger of getting shot? And they're like, oh, it's like me, because everyone knows me. Like, I'm on the front line. Like, and that's what you're saying is essentially like, there's the other side of the coin of the whole getting up there and being well known is that good people know you. That's cool. But bad people know you too. And it doesn't, like, it takes one crazy. Because if one person wants to kill just you, that's not hard. Like, they could do that. They might go to jail, but oh no, they went to jail. They might even die, but they got what they wanted. They killed just you. And it's like,
thanks. You're making me feel real good.
Go to sleep with that in your mind. No, it's one of those things where it's a reality that you just got to be aware of. And you got a gun. You know what's up. Like, you're pretty aware of your surroundings. And again, I assume you go into these things in the whole thing, which is why you guys should go see it. But
man, it makes me really concerned about the future. Welcome to giving Aaron. So welcome to giving Aaron a panic attack. She's done it as well.
It's hilarious, right?
Oh yeah.
I had some fun.
It's just like, you gotta, how we've had a lot of conversations about, well, you just have to have a conversation with these types of people.
Right.
I agree about certain types of people. Like, Cletus and Kyle. I told you about, I gave him an extension screen. Yeah, there you go. So talking with Cletus and Kyle. Cletus cannot be reasoned with. He is a crazy person. Kyle, I think, is wrong, and I think is bad, but can be there is a glimmer of hope there. Like, when I talked to him, I could see the wheels turning. I could see him genuinely taking in my opinion, and I genuinely took in his perspective, and that was fine. But I'm starting to realize there is a lot more Cletuses than we realize, than we've come to. Like, there are way more of these people that are, in my opinion, evil, like, for real evil. And yeah, dude, you should have fucking talked to this guy.
I would love to have seen or been a part of this in some way, just because that's the thing. I know I rainbow colored glasses. That's my thing. That's my shtick. But at the same time, I also acknowledge that there are crazy people. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like crazy people don't exist. We have a system that's run by some of them. Like, it's, people are crazy. And I personally, there was another joke I had way back when, never a stage joke, just a me personally joke. Like, if I had a political running and I was like doing politics, my entire platform would be, there are lazies and crazies. Like, it's just this thing where people refuse to see that there is an element of people that are working very hard, and because the system is jacked up, can't get ahead. Then there's also a section of people who take advantage of things and use things and do bad things. There are people who are on the fence and uninformed and just need to be talked to and reasoned with and taken out of their social circle, and we can bring them to the light. There are also people who are so steeped in it that there is nothing you can do because it's so far down the rabbit hole. Like mental illness is a thing, and
Yeah.
like the scourge, the idea, and I've recently been coming around to this idea myself. I don't think we acknowledge that racism is a mental illness. That it's a level of thinking that's like you're not using logic at a point.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
you're using you're using a version. I don't know what the specific fallacy is, but it's like a straw man catch all. Like, yes, it's fine to understand. It's fine to even notice similarities. I would even say categorization isn't innately bad.
Yeah.
But when you take it and you make it 100% for human beings, or even some animals, like don't even fall under 100% of doing the same thing that other animals would do. They have personalities. So like when you do that, to me, that's like a mental. You're unable to connect a certain dot, and I feel like that's a mental thing that has permeated. And I think it can be helped in some people, which is the ones who can be reasoned with. And like again, we all have that's the thing, right? We all have elements of racism, understanding like different cultural differences, also all that stuff, blah blah blah. Right? We all have it, but it's to the extreme level that when it becomes a mental illness. Much like we all have a version of ADHD or we all have a version of OCD, but it's
Right.
like you get into the upper echelons, it becomes a mental illness. And
And
I
what
feel
is
like personally, it's essentially that. Sorry, go ahead.
no, and I think what's disturbing about it is that all of these mentally ill people, some of them are in positions of extreme power.
Oh yeah.
Some of them get guns and shit, and like
Well, because
I
the country was founded on the mentally ill. It was like it was already like when the crazy people started the nation, they made rules that aligned with their craziness.
yeah
And so now when the craziness is going on years later, and we didn't know depression was that serious. We didn't know that like their crazy thoughts were that crazy at the time, and they made a bunch of rules so that they didn't seem crazy. And
yeah
then we were like, yeah, that's normal, until we started realizing there are problems with that system, and then we're like, okay. But again, you might be right. I think it could go either way. Again, you know me, rose
yeah
colored glasses.
I know how you are, but like last time I was out there, I said, and I quote, "I just want to be treated like an American." I said that, and I got
Yeah.
flipped off. This guy got so mad that I said I wanted to be treated like an American.
We have 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's that stuff that is like it's hard to the position I'm in right now is so mentally strange to me. Everything about the world, sometimes I'm like this can't be real. This is super weird.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we have a very cartoony universe. Somebody made the joke, and it's like I have this weird relationship with it because my stand-up bit that you've seen, that's like the best pickup line, it's kind of a version of this joke. So when you see a meme or something that goes out and it's like it's another version of a joke you have, you're like, I don't know if I can do my joke anymore. But somebody put out a meme that was essentially like, where we live, the world right now is how we live, is like somebody keeps going back in time trying to fix a problem, but every time they do, it creates another problem. Like the murder
Yeah.
thing, and then like and then COVID-19 is a thing, and then they go back and like it just keeps surmounting.
Yeah.
But like again, it's that level of cartoony wackiness that we live in, where it's like, hey, a reality TV show star is gonna run the country? Did you know that Bill Cosby was a rapist? That's crazy. Like it's just all those things, and that's just like obviously the lower end of the crazy, because like so many videos. There's so many videos. The compilation of police brutality videos. Like, how like if you ever Google like white noise, and like they'll be like 10 hours of rain sound effects. It's like police brutality, 45 hours of police beating on innocent black people.
That, and now white people are getting their guns out a lot more. Have you seen
I've seen some.
It's that's the thing. That's what's weird about having a gun. I'm not going to take it out again, obviously, but like having it makes you want to use it. Like that's your go-to.
Yeah.
I've been hearing gunshots and fireworks going off in my neighborhood constantly. And even recently, Aaliyah, I think it was like last night, 2 nights ago, Aaliyah was out there being weird. My instinct was like, get the fucking gun. Let's go out there. Like, get the gun now.
Yeah.
It's if you give someone a hammer, they want to use the fucking hammer. Right. And like, I'm crazy. And even I'm self-aware enough to be like, oh, okay, hold on. This is not, I don't need to be standing by I'm not Malcolm X. Like, let's calm down. Whereas these people they haven't gone through the types of trauma I've gone through. They don't know, they don't have the mechanisms to calm themselves down.
Yeah, it's also, to be fair, along with the mental stuff, there's also the side of it that's like the pro-gun side of it, right? Where it's like, they're not even trained. Like, they don't know how to use or operate a weapon. Like, if you see those pictures of people pulling it recently, it's like, oh, you can tell they've never.
Yeah, they just have a gun.
They just have a gun. It's just like, there was no background checking. There was no like, okay, there's no respect of the weapon and the power that it wields.
Not at all.
It's just like, I have it, so now, and it's again, that's where you get into the like exact same reason that you go for it is the reason that they go for it, but the reason that they go for it is coming from a crazy, illogical reason inside of their head, where it's like, to be fair, again, you can make an argument all which ways about yours or theirs or whatever, but it is that thing of like, it's clearly fear. Like, it's clearly fear. It's masqueraded as anger. It's masqueraded as like, I gotta get out in front of it. I gotta treat you bad so then you don't get me. It's like, I can't think of an accurate metaphor besides because we only have like 1 more minute, but you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. You know what? I'm gonna tell you about what happened in WhatsApp. I'll send you a message, but ultimately, man, I'm just nervous but excited for Sunday.
And we're back to say goodbye, you guys. So to
I
wrap
think
up, nope.
I think I killed it.
Yeah, you said you killed it earlier. Did it come?
Dude, well, there's so fucking many. Can you look at this?
Well, you have fly zappers, and
I have flies. I have these all over the place.
These
over here. They're everywhere.
What, do you just have packets of sugar in your garage?
I don't know. Fuck, it's still alive. All right, let's do this ending.
The king is still alive. You thought you'd get me. But okay. So to wrap up, you guys, Aaron's gonna battle this fly for the next couple hours. I've been Zero Rimson. You can find me at @0_KR anime on Instagram, or you can YouTube Zero Rimson from my YouTube page, or you can find this at probably where you're watching it right now, which is the Buddy System Comedy page on YouTube. You could find a couple of skits, all our other episodes, the ACMM podcast, which is the other podcast that Aaron does by himself, where it's him talking about the struggles of his life. I assume next episode will be about this fly. And then what else? Aaron has his thing going down this Sunday. By the time you guys see this, it'll have already happened. Maybe he will have released something on it, but look forward to that project. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. He still has that album / thing he was working on with Dro to still come out. And I'm just releasing skits and all that stuff. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in with us. Thanks for rocking with us. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next time. Later.